Good morning, salty nerds. Don't adjust your set. I am not Matt Kadish. Otherwise, I'd be talking down here like this.
Very much like this.
Yes,
hey, Dutch Butters, what's going on the Salty Discord channel?
Yeah. Nothing.
How's that gaming channel doing over there?
Yeah. You know,
what are you guys talking about over there?
This is interesting because technically I shouldn't have to say anything because Tom is hosting and Brian is producing, and I'm just gonna sit here.
He's just chilling like a homie.
I'm just doing my normal Ed McMahon impersonation when Kadish is here. You know, I'll say something dumb every once in a while and embarrass myself, and we'll be fine. Should be.
See, he's setting himself up right now. He's like,
that's right.
I just want to make it very clear. I don't want to actually do anything here.
That's it. Well, I was going to like push the buttons on the side, but then you came in here and said, "Oh yeah, I can do that. It's fine."
It's like, get the fuck out of the way.
And Tom was over here. Tom came in 10 minutes late and said, "Well, what are we talking about today?"
Exactly.
And I'm like, I know some Superman shit that Kadish.
All honesty though, Brian showed up naked.
He did.
I did.
And fucking flashed us.
Well, so I just got out of the shower and I'm like enjoy. You know, when you're in the shower, you're enjoying the shower, and my phone is up on the magnetic thing, and I'm watching like Asmongold or something, and I'm just enjoying myself, and then I see the time, and I'm like, oh shit, it's 9:59. I'm like, oh. And so I literally ran in here naked, and I was like,
he's
getting
like,
dressed.
Just a minute, guys, and then he's like running around naked. And, yeah, no, it's been a morning. We may have some other nerds join us. We'll see.
We
Mikey,
will actually.
Of course, is in the chat. He's more than welcome. I know he's busy though, so chances are he can't. But
hey,
speaking of that,
Tom, can I break in really quick? I want to thank Eric Wimberg for his one Dutch Butters obligatory. Dutch Butters up Salty Nerd podcast membership that I received. Thank you so much for making me a member of my own channel, dude. That is amazing.
All right.
So you're gonna send him feet pics now, right?
I'm gonna send him some feet pics. That's right. That's exactly correct.
We don't know whose feet yet, but we will send you some feet pics.
Just so people know how that works is Dutch. This account is not. It's separate from the Salty Nerd account, and that's why it.
I think
that's not the first time that's happened. So, but thank you, man.
Pretty obvious, yeah. But welcome, Dutch, to your own show. How you doing?
Good, man. I'm good. Battlefield 6 came out this week, and I've been able to play it for about 30 minutes.
Yo, can I ask you how are the graphics on that compared to the cinematics I've been seeing? Oh, see, they look so good.
They look really good.
I wish I cared about that shit
Battlefield 6 for years now, but that's just because my assistant's name is Six, and she's constantly arguing with me because I fuck everything up. So. It's my fault, really.
Got it.
I've been having some technical issues on the YouTube side, so I haven't been able to stream, and I spent like an hour and a half trying to figure it out last night, and we finally just said, "Screw it, let's just go play."
I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you, bro. I'll help you.
We'll get that straightened out later. So, but anyway, that's where we're at.
We also have Brian here, who's gay and naked as always. So yeah, how you doing?
What's up? Yeah, at first I put a shirt on that was like a tight red shirt. It's like
just a shirt,
just a large shirt. And I'm very much a double extra large man, and I realized I got set on stream. I realized that it was like so tight, I looked like the Kool-Aid man, so I had to take it off.
He's like, "Can you guys see my nipples?" We're like, "We can't see anything because your dick is hanging out."
It was so tight, my nipples were getting hard in the shirt. So
we could tell. We can tell.
I know.
Along with other things, you're just. Like,
I'm very comfortable with my body. You guys should know that.
That's what you were saying before the show. You're just sitting there lounging out with your wang. I'm pretty comfortable with my body.
I must have missed it.
I have no issue with this whatsoever.
But good morning out there. Yes, let's say hello to the folks in the chat. We got Jillian H., who gifted 5 Salty Nerd podcast memberships as well. Yeah. Thank you for that, Jillian. I don't know if you want to bring that up on screen, Brian. But we also have Eric Wimberg, as mentioned before, who gifted us a Salty Nerd podcast to Dutch Butters. And there's the lovely Jillian, and of course Eric Wimberg. And we also have 20 smackaroos coming in from the Mexican Iron Man himself, busy doing those taxes, working hard. We love him. We miss him. How you doing, my friend? He says, James Gunn sucks, Zaslav is a moron, and Warner Brothers is not saved. DC is not rejuvenated, and the best of DC is behind us. The future is bleak. I'm prepared to debate after October 15th, tax day. Till then, I'm tax and government shut down hell. Well, sadly, you can't join us today, and neither can Odin. He's busy with kids and a birthday party, so...
Yeah, I wish you could join us because you're so wrong right now.
You're not going to get a bunch of doom and gloom from us, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think Mexican Iron Man is reverting to his Zack Snyder bro status. He's reverting. You're backsliding the Snyder Bros.
But here's the thing with Mikey. When it comes to money and stuff, I trust his judgment, right? Like I do. And he's usually one of the guys I go to when I ask him, when it comes to corporate business questions, because that's what he works on. Corporate taxes, anyway. But this Superman thing comes from a Forbes article. And after we're done talking, I wonder if he'll not concede, but he'll at least change his mind and understand that there's more complexity to this than what Forbes put out there.
Yeah.
Because what Forbes put out there was just a straight across the board, what is reported in the press type numbers, what is the box office report type numbers, 0 VOD, 0 video, 0 toy sales. None of that stuff is included in this. But over at that Park Place, they did a pretty good breakdown, and they got a completely different number. And they got 8 million short of profit. And that I could say they'd made up easily in video on demand. So what do you guys say to this? Do you believe this Forbes article? Do you believe Marvin's reporting over at that Park Place more so? Or do you think it's all just kind of a bunch of guessing game stuff for now until they actually get some real numbers?
I don't know how to get that stupid article on here.
I'm trying to get the article up. I was looking for that Park Place one, actually.
There it is. I got it.
Put share screen or something.
I got it.
Yeah, this is the Forbes article here. Yeah, that everything's based on. So yeah, what this did is just did a basic breakdown of what's out there. So and I don't think anybody will argue that so far Superman is any huge hit by any means, but it is. I don't think it's as big of a disaster as Forbes and other people are trying to make it out to be. So what do you guys think, Dutch? What do you feel about this?
I feel like, why would they have any reason to lie or deceive about what the numbers are? But the numbers are just that. They're just the numbers. And
the numbers they have access to.
Yeah. So I have a hard time just really getting excited about the numbers that Superman made, because I feel like I'm kind of like in Mikey's camp. It's like, I don't care because the movie was sucked. The movie was bad and I didn't enjoy it. And I really could care less if I ever saw Corn Sweat in a Superman outfit ever again. I thought he was kind of bland and boring. And I know Tom, I think, disagrees, but it's just wasn't my Superman movie. I thought it was too hokey and weird, and just that's it, man. It's just, it could have made $2 billion. That doesn't mean it's a good movie, but it just means people needed something to do at the time and they went to the movie theater. So I don't know.
Yeah, obviously I disagree with you, but
yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I think you guys are both.
It's subjective.
Skills, so
yeah, it's subjective. But the thing is this, and this is where all I gotta say about the numbers is, these are the same exact estimated numbers we saw back in July. These numbers have not changed. They don't have, once again, they don't have the numbers. The estimated marketing budget of $125 million. That's all estimated. They don't have the access to that actual figure. What the only number they have actually access to is the ticket sales. And the ticket sales was what, 600 million something, right? So you add all that together, and just by numbers here, right? So it was 1,615 million. Well, they go, with an estimated production budget of 225 million, an estimated production budget of 125. What Forbes fails to do is leave out the word estimated, because Variety did put in the word estimated. Forbes just left that word out. And
Brian, I'm sorry, I have to interrupt you because I just found out something about this article. So when you read it, right, it says, according to the numbers. A normal person is going to look at that and go, oh, these are the actual numbers that right. They got from the studio. But no, if you notice, the numbers in the article has a link connected to it. And if you click on that link, it goes to a website literally called The Numbers. That's right. The name of the website. So it's quoting another website, not actual box office numbers.
That's actually,
well, to be fair, now the numbers is accurate as far as what they brought in the box office, right? Yeah. But my point, and some of the points that Marvin was making in the article, was that this Forbes article is just doing a complete surface level, like breakdown of what they feel like the movie didn't make.
That's what I was getting at, though.
For anything else, right? Like, so there's tons of other things.
They have estimated production budget, estimated marketing budget, and they have the actual figures for what the movie made. And they don't actually know the actual complexities of the marketing, licensing and all the other things that could have put. So you can objectively say, I don't like Superman, or you can subjectively say I don't like Superman, or you can subjectively say I like Superman. But what you can't say is that it was objectively a flop or not, or didn't make the money that the studio wanted to make. We don't have that information. Yes, I like the movie. Tom liked the movie. Sure. But that doesn't mean that it was a success, but that also doesn't mean it was a failure. We have no idea the numbers behind WBD. And I do know this. I invested in WBD when they announced, when I saw the first trailer for Superman. I invested at $8 and I sold at 22 the other day. I'm good with that. that was a good investment for me. I'm happy with it.
First of all, you have to take into assessment that like a lot of people like to compare this to the Snyder regime. That's the thing. First of all the people that were involved with any of that stuff prior to that are no longer involved. So they're not really comparing this to that before, because they know this is a different environment now. The superhero movie craze is over. These movies aren't built to make $1 billion anymore. I don't think that they expected this movie to make $1 billion. Did they expect it to do better? Yes. I'll be the first one to admit that they would have much rather this film be much more successful than it was. But what they do have is that this movie underperformed overseas. It did not underperform in the US. This is the other thing nobody is pointing out. It almost overperformed in the US compared to most of these superhero movies as of late, especially if you go back to everything except for Deadpool and Wolverine. And if you really want to get real technical, you can go all the way back to Spider-Man No Way Home. And those are the only two movies that come anywhere close to how well this movie did domestically. And nobody's talking about that but me, pretty much. And people forget that domestically, that Warner Brothers or whatever studio that's running it, they get to keep 50% of the box office and more or more on the opening weekend, right? So like overseas, it's a crapshoot. It could be anywhere from 30% of the box office to just a flat out rate that a certain region pays you to distribute that movie in that area. So regardless of what the box office is in outside the US, they made either set amounts or they get only 20 to 30 or 40% tops, if that, in most of those markets. So that's not even an apples to apples comparison to the domestic market. And I compared this to a movie like F1, because everybody's saying F1's a huge success, right? Well, guess what? Warner Brothers paid out of their pocket $200 million for the distribution rights for F1. That movie did almost as well as Superman, but majority of its money was outside of the US. Inside the US, Warner Brothers made less than $200 million on that movie. So they technically didn't even make their money back on the movie in the US, but they're lucky it did so well overseas. So somebody could sit there and argue, yeah, they scraped by with a profit once you figure in video on the video on demand and home video sales that they do get, because Apple has streaming rights to it. Once that's all taken care of, they will make a little profit on it. But that same situation they're sitting in with Superman, only the difference between this and Superman is F1, they flat out just paid a $200 million checkout for that. As Script Doctor and others point out, nobody in Hollywood likes spending their own money. No studio actually spends their own money. All this stuff is borrowed against stuff. They've got deals and all this stuff. And I always point this out, even with the Disney movies and stuff like that we dislike, a lot of these things are prepaid for a lot of times. Lionsgate's most well known for this, where they'll prepay for shit a lot of times. I hate to point out to people, one of the most profitable movies of the last year was that Crow movie, because it was all pre-sold, prepaid for. They got a streaming deal for it. It didn't matter that it flopped at the box office. Right. See, so that's kind of how this stuff works sometimes, and people don't understand that. If this was the disaster that Forbes is making it out to be, then they would have canceled anything going forward. Or it'll definitely end after Supergirl. Now, I'm not going to sit here and argue whether or not you like the movie or not. There's certain people who are just not going to like this kind of movie. Yep. Right. And that is what it is. But if I was David Zaslav or any other head of any other studio, and you charged me with somebody who do I think is the best person to run a DC Studios, my list would have went as followed. It would have went James Gunn, Jon Favreau. Those are the only two choices, as far as I can see, who can fucking handle this shit right now. Agree. So for better or worse, this is what we've got, because there is nobody else really that can handle this kind of shit. And we're just going to have to wait and see how it works out. If you don't like it, that sucks. Yeah. But the other side of this too, that this Forbes article didn't get into so much, but I believe Marvin did, if I'm not mistaken, was the demographic breakdown. And this is what I've been trying to tell people too. Sure, this movie didn't do as well with the older demographic like us, but guess what? It did amazing with the under 25 demographic. That's what people are not noticing, because guess what? We don't have a lot of that demographic in our sphere. We just don't.
Right.
But I know people with kids, they've been buying their kids these toys and all that stuff. They're just finally going on clearance at Targets and stuff. So this isn't like the Star Wars toys that were already going on clearance before the movie even came out, right? This movie's already played its hand, but in the meantime, kids have picked up on this, whether we like it or not. That is things that Warner Brothers has taken into consideration. And I found out from the person I talked to that that's why James Gunn is all over this shit. It's not for us. It's because he's very, very popular with the TikTok crowd and the Instagram crowd and the social media crowd. So we'll see how this goes. From what I've been hearing about Supergirl, it's already done. It's going to be out next summer.
Yeah.
It costs less. Clayface cost only like $30-40 million to make. So that's going to be nothing to produce. Batman is the only thing that's kind of sitting there, supposed to start filming. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, other than that, what do you think, Brian? Because I mean, you are a fan.
Yeah,
So,
I'm a fan.
Not to be biased, like I said, I admit that would Warner Brothers wish this was a bigger success? Hell yeah, and I would definitely feel like they would be upset had they didn't have other movies that would have played this year, because otherwise, this movie would have, if it would have done this bad and nothing else would have done well, they would be panicking. I admit that, but they had Minecraft, they had all these other movies like F1 and some others that did very well for them too. And so on that note, they've been able to keep their head above water. They've been the best studio in the last year.
The best studio in the last year.
I don't think they're worried.
No, I don't think they were either. And I don't know. I'm not sure if we're going to talk about that Paramount buyout, but I think that's
we
all
can
smoke and
segue
mirrors.
into that actually. Yeah.
But real quick, this is like the first franchise after Marvel that my kids are actually interested in. Like they want to buy the T-shirts, the hoodies. Like they wanted to buy the popcorn bucket. That's usually something that only us old nerds care about, you know. They're really interested in this franchise. Like they love Superman, and it was a blessing for me to finally get to experience. Yeah, that's super rad. Get to experience something with my kids where they liked something that I've loved my entire life. It was a really cool thing. And looking at their feeds, like their feeds are all at the time when it came out was just all Superman clips. Was just funny Superman clips. It was literally a little viral thing in their alpha generation sphere. So I think that they accomplished what they wanted to accomplish with this. They set up a movie that's setting up other stuff, and that's another thing too about Superman is I think the creations and the all the work they did for Superman is going to help them make Supergirl. It's going to help them make the following movie, the Super Family movie. There's a bunch of other things that they're going to create off the back of these movies. We also have a couple people in the green room whenever you're ready, Tom.
Bring them in. I can't see if people are in there. So yeah.
Okay. We got Andre and we got Johnny.
Yay!
Good to see you. Hi guys.
You're just in time to give us your take on this Forbes breakdown of not Man of Steel. Sorry, Superman, and if it actually made a profit or not. And then Marvin over at that Park Place did another breakdown where they had a much different take on it. And I don't know if you guys have heard anything of what we've been breaking down here, but we're curious to hear your take on it. Let's start with you, John.
Again, every time I see the different sides sort of giving their breakdowns, it's kind of like that magic number that they like to pluck. For me personally, I haven't seen it. I've been out and about all day today, but what's the latest on it? Just to give me the skinny on it quickly.
Well, okay. This article basically is saying with the production budget of $225 million and a marketing budget of $125 million, it only made $615 million, which means it was a failure. That's pretty much what it says.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, I think for me, in my opinion, I think a studio would sort of bite their hands off at this moment in time to have something that's bringing in that sort of money. We've just had a film released, haven't we, by Disney in the last week or so that's not doing too hot. So I would certainly think
Disney would love to have money films that break even. I tell you that right now.
Yeah, so that's where we are.
Yeah, speaking of that, Warner Brothers has been the most successful studio this year, and not just by the numbers. Like, look at their stock price. The stock price has timed in a half. It went as far as like $20 off of an $8 start last year. So Warner Brothers is fine. I don't believe Warner Brothers is right now is hurting. I think they're happy that they had such a great year in film. I'm not sure about the rest of their business, but as far as film goes, they've killed it, dude. And I find it interesting that a lot of these articles aren't talking about any of that. Like they seem to really dislike Warner Brothers. I'm not sure why entertainment journalists dislike Zaslav and Warner Brothers, but anytime Warner Brothers is brought up, it's brought up in an antagonizing way. It's never brought up in a way that's showing their successes. I haven't seen a single article talking about how Warner Brothers is the most successful studio this year. Not a single one. That's an interesting topic to bring up. You know, I've seen articles in the past how Disney killed it this year with five of the best, but not Warner Brothers.
Actually, I think there was one or two, but they were kind of forced to, basically, because of the fact that they're the only ones that have had, what was it, 4 or 5 movies that opened over $40 million at the box office in this year alone, and they're the only.
It's weird. I'm not crazy, right? Entertainment journalists really hate Warner Brothers.
You're preaching to the choir here. I've been telling everybody there's been ZDS in Hollywood since the man's been hired, and the reason is because he's a conservative. He's a known conservative, and because he's not one of them, and that's been confirmed in the papers. And Andre, go ahead and take it from here, because you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. So you might as well just continue. I was just backing you up there, because no, it's true. Hollywood views David Zaslav as their own Orange Man bad. That is how he is seen. He is seen as an outsider who came in and disrupted what they were doing. They had everything figured out. They knew each other. They had their own swamp. And then comes this outsider, and he does things differently, and he doesn't adhere to their causes. And then suddenly, instead of just flunking and failing big time as he should have done when he dares to do things differently, it becomes the most successful studio of the year. What gives? I mean, they can't celebrate that. And that might encourage someone else to break from the groupthink. Can't have that. I mean, that's really, really bad and problematic from their point of view, isn't it? So that's the problem that they have with him. And this also goes in with these articles that are so desperate to try to point to, Superman is not successful, it's not profitable, it didn't make the profit that's needed. And then, but these articles, they are a little bit autistic in nature, because they forget about this little thing called reality. They are completely and utterly hyper-focused on the traditional metrics of this is the budget and this is the profitability, completely ignoring the fact that this movie was scaled and budgeted for a slightly different market, and its job isn't to be profitable in and of its own right. It's not a standalone movie. Its job is to create excitement for a coming cinematic universe. The only working or possibly working cinematic universe outside of the Conjuring cinematic universe, which is also Warner's. So
which is also Warner Brothers, right?
The king of cinematic universes. So that was what Man of Steel had to do more than anything else. They don't care about, well, of course, they would like it to be profitable, but the thing that it has to do in an atmosphere, in an era where audiences have turned on comic book movies because they're garbage, and on the cinematic universes because they statistically right now are even more garbage, this movie had to create excitement, and it had to bring in new viewers. It had to get the audience excited for movie 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's what it had to do. That's its measure of success. I mean, it doesn't help one bit if it's successful in and of its own, if people don't like it and they're not interested in coming back for more.
So what you're saying, Andre, is that Superman's main job was to lay a foundation for the DCU.
Correct. This should be absolutely obvious.
The issue that I have with it is that the foundation it laid, I think they got the mix of the cement wrong. You know,
and that's fair. That's fair. That's an argument that you can make. But the actual box office is that domestically, this movie is doing exceedingly well. Internationally, it is not underperforming any worse than anything else. it outperformed this year's Marvel movies at the international box office. So this was what they really latched onto. That, oh, it's underperforming internationally because of Trump, and it's all bullshit. Because if that was true, nothing would have worked. Nothing would have fared well internationally, and that's clearly not the case. And also, when you compare to other comic book movies, it's doing better than all of them internationally as well. So this movie, adjusted for the fact that we right now are in a very different market where the audience has turned on the entire genre because it imploded of its own, under its own weight and under Kevin Feige's policies. Under those conditions, it's doing as good as it possibly could have.
Right.
That's the reality.
Someone in the chat said marketing did Superman, kids get Superman lunchboxes this year. I'm not sure about lunchboxes, but I bought my kids like 4 hoodies already. So
yeah,
I'm going broke on Superman merch, dude.
I think one observation I had, was when Fantastic Four was coming out, everything I saw at the time was Superman. Oh, it's terrible. There was a massive wave of things I was seeing online of, articles. Superman movie is bad. There's something wrong with the Superman movie. Fantastic Four is brilliant. There was very little negative press from the usual suspects about Fantastic Four. And I thought that was quite telling, which you're right. It leads into the fact, let's give Warner Bros. And Zaslav another kicking. To give you an example, before I turned up here, a neighbor came out to me, knows I'm a comic book fan. And he said, oh, I watched the new Superman movie the other day. And I went, oh yeah, what do you think about it? And he goes, I really enjoyed it. And he said he's a Christopher Reeve fan. And of course, it was never going to be as good as Christopher Reeve in his mind, but he enjoyed it. It was an entertaining movie for him and his kids. So in my view, it's done its job. That's what it was there to do. It succeeded.
Yeah,
if
Roman
he
Rhodes,
and his kids are coming back for the second one, that movie has done its job.
Well, and I've conceded that, yes, could it have done better? Absolutely. If Warner Brothers wouldn't have been in the position they're in, they would be definitely panicking some more. And the success of it is all going to be, it all depends on how Supergirl and Man of Tomorrow perform. If those two films don't perform, then it is probably done at this point.
Yeah.
And I acknowledge there are some folks who are not into this, but there are some folks who are, and this more, brighter version of Superman that I have no issues with, and some people do. It's working with the kids right now, so we'll have to see how that rolls. And I agree with you guys. Like to me, it sounds like a lot of ZDS more than anything. But we'll see how much longer Zaslav has, because the rumors keep flying left and right that somebody might be buying Warner Brothers soon.
That's a difference. I have to leave in a moment. I didn't have long. I just want to pop in and say hi.
That's cool.
But just to finish, just to round off this particular thing, what many are ignoring is the fact that the bottom has fallen out of the market, which means that the usual standards no longer apply. They went out the window the moment the bottom fell out of the market.
Yeah.
Had this been 3 years ago, Superman would have underperformed big time, and there would be no excuse for it. But that was in a situation where the bottom hadn't fallen out of the market. Given that it has, it is doing as well as anyone can reasonably expect, given the market conditions. And that gives DC and Warner the option to scale the budgets down and adjust to a new reality, and that way continue making money. Not as much money as they would have in an ideal situation, as much as they could have 10 or even 5 years ago, but as will be possible to make in the next 5 years to come. And they'll take that. And what that means is that the only thing Superman has to do is get fans excited. The scenario of it being a massive success on its own right, that scenario went out the window the moment the bottom fell out of the market. Just have to adjust to a new reality. And with that, I do have to bow out.
Nice seeing you finally in person, Andre.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
I've known you now for like 5 years, and I've never seen your face. It's the first time I've seen your face.
Yeah. All right, take care, gents. Have a great rest of the day.
Have a good one, Andre. Thanks, brother.
Take care. Bye.
Yeah, so unless anybody had anything more to say about Superman, we could probably segue into the rumor that
the Paramount rumor.
Hey, we can probably do super chats though, right?
Yeah, let's do super chats.
Yeah, let's do that first. Yes.
Okay, so we got the first one from Kaloki Oki. Oh, Jesus Christ. Kaloki Oki. Could you highlight my comment? My comment YouTube censorship is being a bitch. I don't know which one it is. Dude.
I don't know what it was. I tried to scroll up, I couldn't find it, but
that or send me a private message or something on X or something like that, and I'll see what you're trying to say.
Kaloki also said that TikTok crowd didn't save his soups and his Peacemaker ratings are in the toilet. Not sure if he's as popular as you think he is.
TikTok's also a different audience too.
Yeah, it's a whole different audience.
Peacemaker is,
Yeah, it is. And I listen, art is subjective. I liked Peacemaker. We're going to talk about it on our show next after this, me and John. I don't understand people's dislike for it. But I do know a lot of people that love it. So I think that just like anything, there's going to be people that like it and dislike it. And all they need to be successful is to have more people like it than dislike it.
This is one of those rare occasions where I feel like there's two sides of it, right? Like this is where there are fans who are correct. They are disliking it just because they don't like it, right? I don't think anybody's being racist, misogynistic, this, that, or the other, because there really isn't a whole lot of woke shit in either Superman or Peacemaker. Even with the stuff with Earth X or whatever that people are talking about, I didn't see it as bad as everybody else did. But the problem is James Gunn is not helping himself. So I understand people feeling that way. I also understand people not liking Superman, and it has nothing to do with anything other than they just didn't like it.
Yeah.
Right. But you also have the other side of this. Yeah. Well, you also have the other side of this where the media is clearly playing against this movie and David Zaslav. You have a whole regime of people like the Snyder Bros and stuff like that who have a clear agenda against this stuff. So there is so many different factors playing. I don't think there's ever been anything like that. I even said it before. I don't think there's ever been a movie that's been under this much scrutiny since maybe one of the Star Wars sequels, right? Like this is just insane. So, yeah,
and they knew that was going to happen when they started making this thing. They knew people were going to be going crazy over this.
I'm sure they'd be happier if Peacemaker would be doing better right now, but at the same time, Peacemaker never really was as big as like a Superman or a Batman kind of thing.
With Peacemaker, they had to have known that they were making that thing for a really small niche audience. It's very rated R. It's about
it's made for me. They made it for me specifically.
Yeah. And it's about a character that nobody's ever heard of. I mean, you know, it's a weird thing for them to base a show on, to be perfectly honest with you. So, but then, you know, we said the same thing about Guardians of the Galaxy when it first came out, right? It's like, who the hell are they? Nobody gives a shit about these guys, but yet it blew up, and it was because James Gunn, you know, put his magic on it, and that's what they're probably trying to recreate. You know, that's what James Gunn does.
And that's the difficult part here, you know, some people accepting him handling characters like Superman, because you're right. Most people will be like, yeah, he can handle these no-name characters that people don't know.
Mr. Polka Dot Man.
But a lot of people have an issue with the Superman. And I understand that, but the problem is some people are they're misinterpreting what they remember through the movies and some latter versions of Superman in the comics, the variant versions, especially the Miller version. Because most people forget that Superman is basically what we got in this movie. He's the big blue Boy Scout. He's a very gee golly shucks kind of character.
Yeah.
He's not as stoic and Jesus-like as they always try to
make
him
is
in the
punk
movies.
rock. Yeah, that's him.
That's Superman,
yeah.
In most iterations, I mean, but yeah.
One thing I love about this franchise right now is that notice that we're not talking about the girl bosses or the woke gay stuff. Like we're arguing about whether we liked it or not, whether the characters were good. We're back to arguing about films, nerd stuff, and not like all this hypersexualized, weird, over the top stuff.
I really hate the logo on Superman's chest because it does not match the S on that run of comics from 1970 fucking
right.
You know, it's just like. Yeah,
I like that discourse. We need to go back. Right. I'm happy that we're back to the nerd discourse that is about the content and not about how woke it is.
Old school nerd wars. Yeah,
right.
Bring it back.
I'm the first one to tell you I'm not a fan of the Kingdom Come style logo. I've never been a fan of that logo. I don't like it. I like the original S.
How dare they put in Mr. Fantastic or whatever his name is and not put in the Wonder Twins and Apache Chief?
Mr. Terrific.
Okay? I'm
Mr.
upset.
Terrific,
Yeah.
So. But the thing is, like, there's a lot of people that like that S. So maybe it works. I was able to get past the
growing
weirdness.
on me.
Yeah.
I liked it in Kingdom Come, but yeah, seeing it in this version's kind of become a bit.
Yeah, I expected it in Kingdom Come because it's like the older Superman. It felt weird for me in this one initially, but what I'm trying to get at is the discourse is about the content itself and not about how woke it is, which is nice.
I will say this about Superman, the new Superman movie. I did say that I haven't liked it, and I didn't like it. It really wasn't a movie that I would make or want to go see again. However, I didn't want to go walk off a cliff in a thunderstorm like I did after watching that new Batman movie stuff that they're making. It wasn't depressing. It was kind of fun. It was, it just wasn't for me. It was made for, young kids like John.
It was definitely for a younger crowd. Like for sure it was for younger people. Now.
Oh, I said that.
But I get
review.
you. The Batman made me depressed.
Yeah,
like I said in my review, I feel like I'm watching a Saturday morning cartoon or this is Super Friends. But yeah,
yes.
John, I think you wanted to say something too. So.
Yeah, I mean, following up on what you said, Tom, I to play devil's advocate with James Gunn. I mean, before you even start, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, aren't you? Really, because you're right. You've got the Snyder Bros who are going to hate it before you've even got out of the gate, and then you've got other people that are going to go, "Oh, it should have been even lighter." So you cannot win that battle. But I think from what he did to balance that and to try and set up something for a universe, it was a good start. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a decent Superman movie. I'm not going to go over the top and say, "Oh, it's the best thing ever," because I didn't think it was, but I enjoyed it as a Superman movie, and that's a win for me. And I will say, just leaning on to Peacemaker as well. Peacemaker's the only thing that I've really wanted to watch for how many years? I've lost count, because of how much garbage we've got over the last few years. At least I actually wanted to tune in each week when it was released on the box.
Yeah, that felt good. It felt good, like actually looking forward to a day to watch TV. Yeah. It's weird how much you miss like the standard normal release schedule of a TV show when there's nothing good happening. Either everything is being binge watched that is decent, or it's just so bad that you don't look forward to it. No, I was looking forward to Thursdays. I'm like, yeah, Thursday, 7:00, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't care for the first season as much when it first came out, but then it grew on me, and I've actually enjoyed the second season. Now, I haven't seen the last episode, but I do understand some people just not liking this.
If you read the comics, that second episode, the last episode actually really works with the checkmates.
Well, either way, like my point is that the Peacemaker show is very James Gunn, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You can tell Superman is him stepping a little bit out of his element and trying something a little different, a little more mainstream. Peacemaker is him just being James Gunn. But then we had some more super chats here. What else do we have?
Yeah, from Celine.
Go ahead.
The cope is strong. Where is Odin to clap back?
Odin was in the chat, and we admit that as box office wise, by most metrics, no, it was not quote unquote profitable. But that's just because of what we have on hand right now. And look, I think it's a debatable thing. Was it a failure? I don't know. It's definitely not a flop.
In the words of Kolokioki, wouldn't call Superman a flop, more of a disappointment. There you go. Okay.
That I can agree with that, or I think that most people, even if they're fans of the film, can agree that Warner Brothers and the rest of the crew probably would have been much happier had it done better. Yeah.
I think
it's not a flop.
Have we ever talked about how much the effect of the modern movie audience has on this kind of thing? Because I don't think as many people are going to the movies as they used to.
That's true, but
I think if this movie came out 10 years ago, it would have been $1 billion movie.
No, that's a fact though. Like movie audience, my brother did a whole investigative report on this. Movie audience has shrunk from 2 years ago to this year by 50%. Yeah. That's an incredible amount of audience shrinkage, and that's across the board. That's not just Superman.
Well, but what Dutch just brought up and is kind of a point to, and not just dump on the Snyder fans, but this is what was always said about that initial launch of the DC universe. It just could not manage to make the money that Marvel was making, even at the height of Marvel. It's still the biggest successes they've had are mainly Aquaman. Really. I mean, if you boil it down, that's the one
came out
movie,
10 years ago.
Yeah, that you can point at and said it was extremely profitable. The rest vary. And again, most people don't realize that the movie that killed this whole thing, because there was a Superman movie 10 years ago, Dutch. It was called Man of Steel or BVS, depending on how you want to get to it. And BVS didn't even manage to make $1 billion. And that's where Warner Brothers said, okay, hold the phone here. We got a movie with the two biggest superheroes in the world, not just in the DC universe, in the world.
In the world.
Right, let's be real. Most people recognize Superman and Batman hands down. Right. So that being said, there was no excuse.
At the height of the comic book craze, in the most memorable, most known characters on the planet, couldn't make $1 billion.
So on that note, like, is this Superman for everybody? No, but it's also the antithesis of what we got before. So now it's just time for the other set of fans to get their shot at it, I guess is the best way to look at it. And if it works out better for Warner Brothers, that's what they'll stick with in the long run. This is also cheaper than what Zack Snyder was doing by far. That's what a lot of people are not acknowledging, because especially when you add in inflation and all that business. Because Man of Steel alone cost over $300 million. BBS was closer to $500 some million. People are forgetting that. The Flash is known as one of the most expensive movies of all time. And I know that's not directly connected with Snyder, but that is like the end of the Snyderverse, right? Like that's the tail end of all that crap. And it's it's the ultimate.
Why'd you have to remind me of that, Tom? Why'd you have to remind me of the Flash movie?
I like to remind people because people forget that they're like, why do you just bring Henry Cavill back? It's like, they weren't going to bring Henry Cavill back anyway. The only person who was going to bring Henry Cavill back was The Rock. And the only reason that was happening is because he was trying to take over DC.
The Rock was trying to bring him back, but they wouldn't let him have it. No,
they forgot they killed him in The Flash.
all I know is that I know for a fact that people have a little bit of a different attitude about going to the movies now, because I do.
Absolutely.
I have
the economy as well.
Going, and I used to be a hardcore theater experience guy, but now movies are coming out, like Tron Ares. There is no way, if that movie had come out 6-7 years ago, that I would have missed seeing that in the theater, just because I know it's going to be cool visual experience, whether the movie sucked or not. But now I don't think I want to go spend $20 on a movie ticket and $25 on a bucket of popcorn and a soda to go watch a shitty Disney movie when I can wait 2 weeks and see it on my big screen TV here at home. Just not going to do that anymore.
That's a problem.
So it is a problem, and that's my problem. But I don't think I'm I know for a fact I'm not.
You're not the only one.
No.
They shot themselves in the foot with this like 3-week release schedule bullshit.
Yeah. There's the fact that at home I have a much better system or setup than most theaters. That all those things are true and relevant, but the things that always buck against that notion is when you drop like that K-pop thing that came, Demon Hunters thing.
Yeah,
right. That thing was already on streaming.
Should have been on theaters.
And it still made because if they had released it in theaters first and then put it on streaming, it'd done a hell of a lot better.
They could still release that in theaters, and it's going to make it.
They did. That's the point I was making, Dutch, is they did, and it did well. But you're right. If it
was a limited release for a weekend. But yeah,
they might just release it.
They did that with that Gabby Clubhouse movie. They actually put that out in theaters first, and I think that they're going to turn out that did very well for them. It didn't do the $100 million, $300 million kind of thing, but it did pretty well, and it's just a Netflix show.
Yeah, the K-pop Demon Hunters did well with people that had already seen it multiple times. Still went out to theaters to watch it again.
That's my point. Yeah,
when I go to the studio and I walk in there and I sit down and Kadish looks at me and he takes his things off and he goes, "Hey, did you watch K-pop Demon Hunters?" And I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" He goes, "No, no, man, it's really good. I watched it like 3 times." He's like, I exaggerate a little bit, but that's a true story. That's a conversation we had. He's like, "It's really good. It's catchy. They got good songs. It's well voice acted. It's animation's great." I go, "Man, you were high right now." But then I went home and I watched the first half and fell asleep. But it was good. It was fine. It's
quality.
Weird.
It's actually quality content.
Yeah. So
it's not aimed at me whatsoever, but it's quality.
No, I felt kind of silly laying in bed watching this stupid animated K-pop show, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about this right now. I'm going to turn on History Channel and go to sleep.
Well, the weird thing is you actually feel empathy toward the characters, and like you're like rooting for them. And it's a weird experience because like I know this is not made for me whatsoever. This is not the kind of, but it's still at the end of the day, it still pretty much is the hero's journey. Yeah. And I think the hero's journey is always something that especially our crowd, can get behind, even if it's in a weird format that that's not aimed toward us,
Right. We should probably let Tom move the show along before
a little bit, just a little bit
before the chat pops up.
I actually joked before the show because Matt sent us like 6 stories. I'm like, well, we'll get to about 2 of them. Funny and Dark says, Brian, I sent you a SG1 parody vid using Sora. So there you go. Check that out. From
Where did you send it, man? I couldn't find it, buddy. If you could tell me in the chat.
Yeah, let us know in the chat.
And then Jeremiah Hambry, members chat, 7 months. Thank you, remember, brothers. He said that is what John Camp said. Campia, I think he's
yeah.
Is that this movie was set up for other movies that if it made profitability wasn't the point. It's bringing people in. Yeah. I mean,
it is the point, though. It does need to make money, but it didn't fail. Like, it's not like the movie made $200 million, right?
Yeah.
Right.
John Camp.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on, man. That's all the supers. Oh, no, there's one more. I got one more. No, I got 2 more. My bad. Ghost Army. Superman's lost money. It's a flop. $42 million loss. Okay. Right. Thank you for that statement, Ghost Army. Thank you for the support.
Well, that may be true according to Forbes, but then you got that Park Place who says it's only like 8 million to 12. So
yeah, interesting how no one has all the information, huh? Valentine Puppy for $5. Does it have to be worldwide? Superman is American. To be highly accepted in America is success. It was a good popcorn American, hopeful, bright vision.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, you may be late to the. Go ahead, John. Sorry.
I was just going to say, to answer that as a Brit, to an extent, I think what you're saying there, if I've got it right, is kind of how I feel from growing up. When I grew up in the 80s with the Christopher Reeve movies, it wasn't made for a British audience. It wasn't made for a British audience. It was made for an American audience, right? But it was loved around the world. And I think that's what I miss. I miss it just being a production now that is made for the American viewers and the public, and then it takes off around the world. That's something that was special in the past, and I don't think we're ever going to get that back because it's the quest for more money, isn't it now? Whereas
instead of the quest for peace,
it was organic. Yeah. Let's not talk about that, Tom.
No, because I know. Yeah, you're right. Because I just happen to know that the first, especially 2 Superman movies, were very big in the UK. And I think you're right. And I wonder if the whole James Gunn thing that they were trying to get out of him about the movie not having the truth, justice, and America way thing. And once you see the movie, you realize it doesn't even matter because it's not even brought up. And most people won't acknowledge that Man of Steel didn't say it either.
No.
But anyhow, that being said, I wonder if that didn't hurt outside the U.S. Because I wonder if you're right about that, where like a lot of people have been like, yeah, I want to see a pro-American movie made by Americans. I don't want to go see a movie that's going to pander to me. Because that's what happened with the Chinese market originally. Like people were noticing is that they were just rejecting a lot of this crap because they were just pandering to them. It's like, no, when they go to see an American movie, they want to see American movies. They don't want to see something that's being made for them.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's similar here.
I think you're right. And I think, that truth, justice in the American way, when I heard about that in the UK, I was like, what the hell are you doing? People in the UK love Superman, truth, justice in the American way. It's Americana as far as I'm concerned. Why are you even trying to do that? It's crazy, but just keep making it for American viewers and the public, and the rest will come from there, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've said that 100 times. Like, don't aim. And listen, in any business you're in, if you are starting a business, and first off, you need to find out what your audience is. Let's say you find out your customer base is this type of person. Then you make a product for that type of person. Don't look at your customer base and go, you know what? They're cool, but what if I tried to make my product for this other customer base that never buys my shit in the first place?
Right. Can you imagine
that is a way to fail. And we've been doing that for 15 years now. Let's
flip the script a little bit. Imagine if they made shows like Doctor Who.
I knew you were going there.
Or a
the
Red
US
Dwarf,
did try actually.
Or any of those crazy British shows that we watched when we were kids. If they had tried to make those for an American audience, we would have been all
wouldn't work.
They tried terrible. Dutch.
It didn't.
Once for Doctor Who, Fox did it, and it did not work out very well.
Yeah, and I would also add to that, when Matt Smith was the Doctor, that's when it started becoming popular. I think it hit Netflix in the US with you guys, and it took off in the US.
Home
and
video was a big deal too. Yeah.
Okay. And the trouble that you had was the execs that were in charge of Doctor Who suddenly thought, hang on a minute, let's start making Doctor Who for the American audience.
Right.
Let's not keep it the traditional British show that it was. And what happened? It failed, and then we ended up with a doctor in a dress. And the man, not the woman. That's where we are now. And I think they did that. It failed, and it just backs up what you just said, Brian. That just make it for the people that want it.
I think Valentine Puppy's right. I think they also did try it with Red Dwarf as well, but. You have those exceptions, like, when you do like the American version of The Office, right? Compared to that's a little different. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about where like they actually did, because Fox did this back in like 92, I think it was. They tried to do it in 96. Yeah. They tried to do an American Doctor Who, and it was like, what the fuck are you doing?
Eric Roberts.
The thing is this, man. Like and we've had this conversation. Like a lot of these movies and TV shows are very much being geared, until recently, being geared to, like, let's say the LGBT, which is a tiny percentage of their possible audience. So we're gonna write this movie, we're gonna market it to like the 4% of people that are gonna watch it, completely ignoring the other 96% of your possible audience. That is a bad business decision. So look at that in the same way you look at Superman. Superman was made for an American audience. If Americans like it, and you know what? One thing that Americans are good at is exporting culture. It's what we've been doing since TV and movies and radio existed.
That's what Trump has been saying, yeah.
So why don't we keep creating it for Americans, and we'll export the culture the way we've had for the last 100 years. I'm not sure why you would make it for a tiny percentage of your global audience versus the audience that is going to push it into the every corner of the planet. It makes no sense. I think that this movie was made generally for an American audience, and I think it'll filter down.
The sad part, Brian, is, and that's what I think John and I were just talking about, is unfortunately, it wasn't sold as that. And you can blame Warner Brothers, you can blame James Gunn for that. I totally give that. That's all on their shoulders.
I blame the general culture of the last 15 years.
Could very well be all those things mixed together too. My point was, that I've been saying since the start, though, is that this movie didn't underperform in the U.S. See, that's what people aren't talking about, is that in the U.S., this movie either overperformed by expectations, and it did better than the last few Marvel movies by far. So that's what people aren't acknowledging. I mean, even our good friend Odin in the chat, I would love to have had him on here just to bring that kind of point up. And like I said, brought up my comparison to F1, because everybody's saying how much of a success F1 is, when I'm like, how is that such a success when Superman's a failure, when Warner Brothers spent damn near the same amount of money on both, and both brought in the same amount of money? The only difference is one is mostly outside the US, being F1, mostly is in the US, being Superman. What movie do you think they got to keep more money on? Because we all know the answer to that, the one that's in the US. So that's the thing. F1, I will say, is a success. Also, at the same time, I will say that Superman did what it needed to do. Was it a success? That's debatable. Was it a failure? Fuck no. Right? You could say it's a disappointment. You could say it's a rocky start, however you want to put it. At the end of the day, I don't think anybody's can really argue that much of it, because you can say it was a failure on certain levels, but without knowing all the things we know, like Brian and I have been saying too, I don't think you can really get a good assessment on that. And it doesn't matter. The success is going to be whether or not Supergirl performs, whether or not Clayface performs, and whether or not Man of Tomorrow and Batman and Wonder Woman perform. That is all that's going to matter from here on out. And if those movies don't perform, it's all done then. And not only is this done, the superhero movie crave is done in general. Because here's the problem with Marvel on the other side of this, and the other thing I keep pointing out, is that nobody's talking about how much of a disappointment or failure the Fantastic Four was at the end of the day. And they're also not talking about how Disney is spending the most money ever on a comic book movie in the history of comic book movies on their next film. I'm not talking about Spider-Man either, because that's Sony production. That's going to be done and over with and out in theaters well before Doomsday does. And Doomsday might be an aptly titled film, because at this point, I wonder if it isn't going to be Doomsday for Marvel. Because the movie alone already we know is going to be $200-300 million just for the cast and directors.
Oh
That's
my
not
gosh.
counting the film.
There's like 50 people in this movie. Like there's like
That's what I'm
50
saying.
that you don't care about. That, you know, what was it? The Infinity Saga. What was it? Yeah, exactly. 10 years we built up the Infinity Saga because we were invested in those characters, Tony Stark, all of them. Now we've got a load of them that's going to be in this movie when it turns up that we don't give a stuff about. So we're just going to be cheering on every single one of them getting wiped out throughout the movie. That's where we'll buy our tickets. You know, crazy.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah, I like what Andy said in the chat. F1 was great. F4, not so much. Yeah, so let's keep going with these super chats because I know we got a few more. We got a couple more.
Is there more? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Did we get them all? No, we got Fleckyoki, I think, is the next one who says, wouldn't call Superman flat. We got that one.
We got
Brian. Yeah, we got that one. Okay, I think there's one more.
Just one more here. Funny and Dark. It's on my channel and Expert on your page. Oh, okay. I'll check. He's talking about the Star Trek, the Stargate.
Gotcha. Awesome.
I'll find it.
All right.
Tom, you got to change the subject, man. Chat is really pushing.
We're getting on it. We're getting on it. Okay, so bring this up. Deadline is reporting that there's more talks on this David Ellison bid. And as it takes shape, according to them, there's no clear role for Zaslav, according to the Dish. Exclusive with new contracts for Warner Brothers, motion picture chairs, Michael DeLuca and Pab Amdi signed. That's another story we were talking about. They did get to keep their jobs. And why? Because they've actually done successful films, right? That's why. But basically it says they've been signed, sealed, and delivered, and now David Zaslav run Warner Brothers Discovery is truly poised for a purchase by David Ellison and Paramount. So
Tom, I need you to explain this all to me like I'm 5. That's what I need you to do. Okay.
Okay. First of all, this is getting very complicated, and I really do wish we had Mikey here now for this, because this is where I really need his expertise to help explain this. Warner Brothers is looking at spinning off the company into a couple different things.
Okay. All right.
And it looks like, Warner Brothers, the movie department, it looks like might be getting bought up by Paramount. I don't know about the television side of things. That's my assessment so far. I'm possibly wrong on this.
Okay.
David Ellison made a cash bid. I think I don't know if the initial cash bid was rejected or if they're still considering it, but now it talks like there's been talks, because there was other people that did put in bids, but yeah. So I don't know. This is a very complicated thing because no formal offers have yet been sent from PSKY to Warner Brothers Discovery. PSKY would be Skydance. The Jeff Shell and Gary Cardinal advised David Ellison is just biding his time or making a bid for another iconic studio. So he hasn't, I guess, actually made this bid yet. So they're just working this stuff out behind the scenes. So it's a lot of talk, it sounds like right now. And it was my understanding that at one point when Zaslav and Discovery came on board, the plan was to kind of rebuild Warner Brothers, spin it out and sell it off, make a profit, basically flip it. But there was also rumors that that Zaslav kind of liked being an executive at a movie studio. He kind of liked being a movie mogul, even though the rest of Hollywood said he didn't. So I don't know. But in this decision, it sounds like there is no clear role for him going forward. I've heard an advisory role might be part of it. But other than that, we don't know. I wish I knew a lot more about it. Even this article says the same thing I'd heard, and that is that he might be a strategic advisor. Another version of it I'd heard where he would still run Warner Brothers as a separate studio. See, that's the thing, is I wonder, who knows what the regulations are going to allow this to go through. Now, the complicated part of this is, and Script Doctor brought this up to me recently, and I totally forgot about this. Warner Brothers is technically a Canadian company. It's technically not a U.S. company, so it doesn't fall under the same regulations as a U.S. company does. So that also, I think, opens up a lot of different floodgates and avenues for them to wheel and deal and do some things that they might not have normally been able to do had Warner Brothers been an American company. Now, I don't know how that all is now concerning AT&T and Discovery. Again, I wish I knew we had somebody here who was a little bit more up to speed with some of this shit.
These stories, Tom, are really kind of funny because what I hear is maybe something is going to happen if some people do this thing.
That's pretty much it.
And you know, we don't really have anything to write about in this 2,000 word article, but we're just going to make a bunch of fluff up. And
you know what's funny in this, and how this ties back to what we were just talking about, is there's been a lot of this stuff to try and make like Warner Brothers is going to get away from David Zaslav, or it's going to be sold off.
It's always the
failing
way.
in some way.
Yeah,
it's been constant,
never ending.
No. Universal was going to buy it at one point. Remember?
Yep.
I read enough articles about
Yeah.
something. Something's bound to happen, right? It's like a pressure tactic. But you know what I'm hearing, and maybe I'm wrong, is they're going to try to sell it and piece it out and make different divisions. And we all know how that always works out. That's how we get bad Star Trek movies and terrible Star Trek series. And it gets Paramount. We're gonna have a movie division, we're gonna have a TV division, and we're gonna have a streaming division, and we're gonna have an animation division.
When in reality,
round and round we go. Yeah.
They only do that so they can dump bad debt onto other divisions. They do it to clear up debt most of the time.
It's just like, enough.
Well, and I think a lot of this move has to do with Ellison trying to cut ties with television shit. Because now there was a time where I know he was gunning for a network, but I think that time is over now that a lot of the sports deals have been made, because that was what let's be real. A lot of what's going on in entertainment right now is the networks are dying. Sports is the only thing that's worth a shit. Standard television is dead. Okay, let's face it, it's dead. We're at the first point in history where less than 50% of the households in America have cable or digital satellite systems. So that is not something they had planned on, especially getting into this streaming war. This is something I've been beating that drum for a while, right? So what they have here is they created a fucking streaming war with these, streaming services, which was stupid to begin with. And instead of trying to kill cable and television, which they should have been doing in the first place, which was the actual wounded animal waiting at the side of the road to be picked off, they went after theaters, their actual bread and fucking butter, and they made those less what we were talking about just a few minutes ago, where, like Dutch said, I don't even want to go to movies anymore, like Dutch said, for whatever fucking reason. It's a million reasons, and a lot of them are their fault. And now they're sitting here going, well, shit, we need theaters. What are we going to do?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'd rather stay home and shoot Brian from across the battlefield in virtual reality. That's what I'd like to do.
Yeah. Can I say something about this article? Tom, it's exactly what you were saying about how they have like Zaslav derangement disorder is so true. Just look at this article, bro. They talk about DeLuca and Abney as being the crown jewels of Warner Brothers. Coming out with $4 billion box office year to date, DeLuca and Abney are clearly among WBD's crown jewels and major assets for the Ellisons, which is more than you can say for Zaslav. And you're like, hey, I got a question for you, whoever wrote this article. Who hired DeLuca and Abney?
Yeah, well, here's the thing I've said for years. Like, I had to do some research into this, but I actually know a lot of these people that are involved with this shit. I have said for years that why isn't Mike DeLuca running Warner Brothers when you had the guy whose claim to fame was stealing the script for Frequency? Okay, Toby Emmerich, the guy who ran Warner Brothers into the fucking ground. The only thing that kept his ass afloat was Harry fucking Potter.
Wow.
And they're
Go back and look at it.
They're busy ruining that right now too. So it's crazy.
Look, for better or worse, it is what it is now on that part. But they gave this guy the fucking job when Mike DeLuca should have got the job years ago. But what I found out was Robert Shea and him had a bit of a falling out. Otherwise, he probably would have got the fucking job to run New Line to begin with, which was what got Toby Emmerich the job to run Warner Brothers. Okay, so this is something that's been going on for 25 fucking years. Okay, this guy, Mike DeLuca, he's a maverick. Okay, does he make all the best decisions in the world? No, but he's a lot like David Zaslav. He wants to take chances. He's the kind of guy who would bring stuff to New Line that, was always kind of like a little off the cuff, but it works most of the time. Not every time, but most of the time. And that's kind of what we're seeing here with Warner Brothers. And a lot of the things that you can blame on them, like Joker 2, I said the other day, any producer in Hollywood would have made the same fucking deal.
Of course.
You cannot blame Joker 2 on them. The only thing you could possibly blame on them is Furiosa. Why? Because you shouldn't have made that movie.
No,
Just shouldn't have made it. Regardless if it's good or not. It doesn't fucking matter, because the last movie flopped. And you're stuck in a position right now where nobody is going to see girl boss movies, and you're making a girl boss movie. Don't do it. That's the only mistake they made. Otherwise, they were the ones behind Minecraft and all the other fucking shit in the last few years. That's done great for them.
I enjoyed Furiosa, but you're 100% correct, Tom. They shouldn't have made a movie.
Piss poor timing.
Yeah, they should have made a Mad Max movie with Max. You know, I 100% am with you on that.
If Furiosa was a fucking streaming show on Max, we wouldn't have been having this conversation.
Right.
And Joker 2, you cannot blame on them. Any producer. I don't give a shit who they are in Hollywood. The deal was get Joker 2 made.
Yeah.
What they had to do to get Joker 2 made is what they had to do. Any other producer was not going to get a better fucking deal out of that.
That Joker movie, that was something that it was just lightning in a bottle. Nobody knew what they were doing.
No, and at that point, the deal was get Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix to say yes.
Yeah.
And to get them to say yes, they wanted full fucking control. That was where this thing went off the goddamn rails.
Yeah.
At that moment, Warner Brothers should have said, fuck it, we're not doing this. That's what they should have done. But the money said, do it.
It's true.
Yeah.
But so that's 2 stories killed. Let's go to one more. We got enough time for one more.
Yeah, we got them for one more. Go to the magic
Stranger Things.
The magic Kadish wheel. Let's spin it around.
Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious. All right. I have very little to add to the Fast and Furious.
I have no interest in Stranger Things.
What's going on here? I didn't even touch it. I have no idea what's going on here.
It's possible that the final 2 movies of the franchise won't happen because
come on.
I know. Because they want to cut the budget. They want to cut the budget down to 140 million. And remember, this was supposed to be a 2-part finale for the franchise.
Aren't these movies like guaranteed money makers? Because people like you go watch them like 8 times.
Yeah, 100%. I watch them in the regular theater, then in 4DX, and then in 3DX. Then I watch it in the sex theater just to see how much people are masturbating to it.
This is the last bastion of cheesy, schlocky popcorn movies, summer popcorn flicks.
It feels that way,
you know. And I don't know, man. I feel like these movies are extremely popular.
It's also a 20-year franchise,
right? Exactly. So and if they've made money, they've all made money, right? Am I wrong?
Right. Yeah, they've all made money. Yeah.
Every episode of this.
No, Tokyo Drift didn't make money initially.
The last few I think did very well overseas, but they didn't do as well in the US. Again, kind of like what we were talking about earlier in the show.
They're launching cars and driving them in space. This is where
that kind of shit's
these are comic book movies, I mean,
it's Aliens for the next one. It's got to be Aliens. It has to be, So anyway, you can go.
So wait a minute. Can we get the dinosaurs from Jurassic Park?
Yep.
And the aliens from Independence Day and the guys from Fast and Furious all in
Mission
one
Impossible.
Movie?
Yes.
And Mission Impossible. That would
and
work.
Mission Impossible. And we can
throw
bring
Jason
Riddick
Bourne in there while you're at it.
Yeah, why not?
And Riddick.
So the thing about this is, by the way, never send me Wall Street Journal. I'm not paying to read an article, guys.
He does it all the time.
Bulldog.
Fucking killing me with that. But basically, and I'll give you guys the TLDR of this. Vin Diesel reported that Fast 11 would be, or Fast and Furious 11, or Furious 11, whatever it's called, will be arriving April 2027. Turns out he may have spoken too soon. And TLDR, he wants to do a 2-part movie. So he wants to do an 11 and a 12, like an Infinity saga, right? The Infinity Gauntlet and the Endgame, Infinity War and Endgame. He wants to do like a 2-part finale to the Fast and Furious franchise with 11 and 12. Well, the problem is the studio wants to cut about $120 million off the budget. Originally, it had a $340 million budget for one movie, and now they're asking him to make 2 movies for $200 million, which is not possible.
Actually, I think it could be. I think it's just more so these guys got to take less money. You got to work up a bunch of deals with car companies. You can do it. I could do it.
They should just pay him off.
We can do it, but these hokey old guys can't do it. No way.
Vin Diesel wants to get paid.
Does Vin Diesel get paid off the back end? Does he get like a Marvel deal with?
You'd
like,
expect
it'll be about $250 million for 2 movies. So I guess $125 million a movie.
Honestly, that doesn't sound unreasonable for these kind of movies in this day and age. I mean, we all know that it's not $200 million for the movie.
It's okay. Here's the problem
you know,
with I think Universal's, like I said, the last few didn't do that well. They did good. They didn't do as well as the last. Yeah, they didn't do like I think the peak was Fast 5, and then it's kind of went like.
I think the peak was Furious 7.
Is the
7
Rock
one of those?
Is the Rock and Jason Momoa gonna?
It was the movie right before Jason and the Rock. The movie before that was
about that point. About at that point is all those movies made the same amount of money as that.
And that movie went wild. And then they made Hobbs and Shaw as a follow-up, thinking, well, maybe these two characters are the reason why it was so successful. And that movie didn't do, even though that movie still made money, it didn't make as much money as the regular.
And that was my point. Yeah.
Fast proper.
From there on out, the franchise. So peak was the 7, then not 5.
Right.
Then from there, it just went, and then it just flatlined at like that.
Right, and every movie has cost more and more money to make. So Fast X cost $340 million, right?
Well, this is where you tell Vin Diesel take a pay cut, and he says, "Why?" You go, "Because it's about family."
It's about
family.
It's about family.
Well, we did
all
last
the other
week.
millionaires getting paid.
We did last week, Brian. Remember you put in a pitch to Grok for the new Fast movie.
Oh, that's right.
And we are certain now that is how they're pitching the movies.
Yeah,
they're doing it.
Let me tell you guys this. So I was like, look, because they were talking about how they're still working on a script and they need more money, right? Well, so I decided I don't think it's that hard to write a Fast and Furious movie. It's just not. Right? It's just not that hard. So I asked Grok basically to give me, there it is.
How many times can you remake the Italian Job? I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
Give me a synopsis for Fast and Furious 11, and I'm going to read this to you, and you tell me if this doesn't sound exactly like what the fucking movie is going to be. Following the explosive events of Fast X, where Dominic Toretto and his family face the wrath of Dante Reyes, the vengeful son of drug lord Hernan Reyes. The stakes are higher than ever. In Fast X, Dante orchestrated a devastating plan, framing Dom for a terrorist attack. But in Furious 11, Dom and his crew fight to clear their names and protect their family from Dante's relentless vendetta. With the agency now under AIM's corrupt control, Dom, Letty, Tej, and Roman and Ramsey go off the grid, forging uneasy alliance with old foes like Cypher and new players, including a rogue hacker, with new ties to Giselle's shadowy return. As Dante escalates his attack, using advanced tech mercenaries and mercenaries to hunt the crew across the globe, from Tokyo's neon streak to Rio's Falavias, I can't say these words.
Yeah.
They lead a rescue mission to save Brian. One last time, one epic finale, the Fast saga where the road ends, but the family endures.
Yeah, fantastic. Wow.
The best synopsis ever. And you know what? That's exactly what the movie's going to be. This isn't that hard.
The same plot for every movie, just like Kelly in the chat just said. Yeah, so,
Right.
yeah, I get it. It's great.
Falafels. Did I say it right? Oh, I said it right. Falafels.
Yeah.
Falafels.
Yeah, you had me with the first sentence. I'm telling you. I just told Grok, give me a possible synopsis for Fast 11. And boom, it came up with the perfect story. It's just not that hard.
These go to 11.
Dude, and Vin Diesel was like, oh, we're still working on the script, we really want to make it perfect. What is taking so long? This is not that difficult, man. You're overthinking it. It's a Fast and Furious movie. Explosions and hot chicks and cool action is all you need. And every once in a while, do something so ridiculous and physically impossible so we can all point and laugh and at the same time have our mouths open. This is not that difficult. Like a fucking Pinto in space.
You do realize
Or a
Disney
gremlin.
looking at this right now and just going, yeah, good idea.
This time they have the ultimate challenge. It's about family. We're going to jump over the earth.
I live my life 1/4 mile at a time.
Isn't Vin
But I
Diesel-
also flew a 1989 Gremlin into space using duct tape.
Yeah. Isn't Vin busy working on that one movie that we all are clamoring for, The Witch Hunter 2?
Dude,
Isn't
Vin
that what
isn't
he's
doing
doing?
anything but this movie. No one's hiring him
No.
unless he's doing voice for Groot. This is the only movie he's got.
Groot.
I am
Man, I am Groot. Yeah.
I just think it's really funny because if you remember how that movie ended, like it ended on like a major cliffhanger. It was totally meant to be like the Empire Strikes Back of movies. It wasn't meant to have like an ending, a conclusion. And the fact that if Vin Diesel, who is famously very arrogant, can't rein in his pride enough to make this movie, we legitimately just might not get a conclusion to one of the longest running franchises in history of cinema.
Guys, they are making a Last Witch Hunter too.
Yeah, Michael Caine's in it, isn't he? Is he coming
That's
out
wild.
of retirement?
I did not know that. I was making shit up. But yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's in development with Michael Caine.
Yeah.
And Vince and wow. Okay. Okay.
A family member needs a new house for Michael Caine.
Right. Needs to buy a new car.
I hunt witches.
Isn't he like 95 years old now?
How do you know she's a witch? Well, she turned me into a newt. I got better.
Bloody dolls.
Well, that
what
was
we got
fun.
for super chats? Anything new? Oh no,
No,
not new yet. So. All right. Was there any more stories you guys want to touch on? We could talk about DiCaprio. We can talk about Kevin Costner.
Well, we're just kind of winging it today, right? So
yeah. Oh, there's also that news that did drop. That's interesting. That Jim Caviezel will not be reprising his role as Jesus in the resurrection of the Christ. I don't know if you guys heard that. So
how
they're
does
looking
that
for
work?
a young Jesus. They're looking for a young new Jesus. I guess.
Oh God, that movie's gonna flop so
Pedro
hard.
Pascal.
No, it's Timothy Chalamet for sure.
No, man, it's that young blood dude.
No, that might work, Timothy Chalamet. But what, dude?
This time it's personal.
Let's just go with Michael B. Jordan. You want to do it, Hollywood. You want
to make it a musical then.
Make it a musical and make it Michael B. Jordan. Call it a day.
Told you I'm coming back, y'all.
You know what? No, fuck it. Make it Zendaya.
Yeah, it's going to be Pedro Pascal, isn't it?
Y'all wrong. Make it that chick from Wicked. What's her name?
Oh, Cynthia Erivo. Long nails.
Yes, Cynthia Erivo is Jesus again. She's playing the role again. There you go.
Timothy Chalamet and whatever his name is.
He might actually be good.
Yeah,
so that's the problem. He's already playing Timothy.
He's already Space Jesus, right, in Dune. So I mean, just bring it down.
The only good part about Dune is
he'd be all right. Yeah.
But all right, otherwise there's Kevin Costner and there's Conservatives against DiCaprio. Stranger Things costing a butt ton of money.
Yeah, I don't even know how they're gonna make. The reason I don't care about Stranger Things is like these kids are now like full on adults
25, 60
with like
years old.
children. Like, you know what? If they wanted to make Stranger Things, they should have just burned it and just made 5 seasons back to back to back.
Haven't they been making that for like 20 years?
Yeah, no, a long time.
Well, this is kind of the problem with these streaming shows, right? Is they have too much time in between. Now, for people in the UK, it'd probably not be as different because I know sometimes the shows over there, sometimes you will have 2-3 years in between a show. But in the US, we are used to new shows in the fall, new shows in the summer for summer replacements. Hell, you even get mid-season replacements and stuff with brand new shows. So we're used to a show only being off the air for like 3-4 months tops. It used to be that way anyway. And then when you got to wait 3-4 years for a show, what the fuck is that?
Is that kind of on that line? Is that how they're doing this Harry Potter show for those kids?
That, from my understanding, they're doing it every year.
They're really young right now. So are they going to age into the different school years? Is that what the plan is?
My understanding is every year is going to be a year of school. Yeah. So they're going to be doing it back to back to back to back to back, which is the smart way of doing it.
Right.
Because Stranger Things reminds me of it. Because I talked to the director of the original miniseries It that is, that is showed on television. And I told him, I'm like, well, they're shooting the new one now. Cause I'm like, have you seen it yet? When I was asking him about it, and he's like, no, they sent me a copy, but I haven't watched it yet. And I said, well, they didn't shoot the kids stuff at the same time like you did. He goes, well, that's fucking stupid. I said, yeah, that's what I was thinking too. He's like, yeah, he goes, the first thing we did was shoot all the kids stuff for part 1 and 2 because we knew at some point one of these kids is going to show up one day with a deep voice and be 6 inches taller.
Right.
And there's nothing we can fucking do about it.
Yeah.
And that's
he's gonna
exactly what
talk
happened in It
he's gonna
Chapter 2.
Talk like this, and because his voice is gonna be changing.
Dude,
You
the
know,
black
yeah.
kid from Stranger Things, straight up, like he looks like a full grown man now, dude.
He's got Social Security now. I mean, it's
Right.
like,
He's got 3 kids. What are you talking about?
And 11, Millie Bobby Brown, whatever her name is, bro. Like she's doing like
Well, she's like 40 now, right?
adult men's
Yeah.
mags.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
has 3 adopted
she
children.
got work to look older. That's the
Yeah,
weird
yeah.
thing for her. Like,
She
yeah, what the
legitimately
fuck?
looks like a 35-year-old woman. I'm like, you're
Yeah.
gonna have her trying to play a 16-year-old. Ain't gonna work, dude. I don't know, man.
I swear she's the only woman in Hollywood who tried to make herself look older.
Right?
Because they're always trying to make themselves look younger. She went and got that surgery, like you just said, Brian. She went from looking like a teenager to looking like she's 36 overnight.
Overnight, like she just slammed into that wall, dude. Like,
And you're like, what the fuck did you do?
The
Just
season
destroyed
two's-
your entire career. But
I think
whatever.
even
Season
moved,
2's graduation. Then that's it. That's what we go to. Straight to graduation.
Time out. I'm going to pivot the show, and I know this is Tom's job.
Please do. I
but
don't care.
I don't know if you guys know anything about this because I don't. But I just saw this cruising through the internet. I want to know what your guys' thoughts are on this in the chat as well. Sigourney Weaver has met with Disney about a new Alien script. It has a very strong first 50 pages. This is on Hollywood Reporter. Is Ripley coming back? What do we think about that? What could they do? What are your guys'
Is it
thoughts
Neil
on this?
Blomkamp's script?
I
'Cause
have
if it's
no
not,
idea.
I don't
I have
know.
no idea. But
Well-
it looks like Sigourney is going to go back to the alien worlds. So I don't know.
I could see it because she has signed on technically with Disney because she's doing the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, isn't she? So
Right. Yeah.
she can do
And
it.
the
but again,
Avatar
it's-
is now Disney. Yeah.
yeah. So it's
So
I
Sigourney
wouldn't put it
Weaver is
past
a
him.
Disney princess.
Apparently.
Well, the
With
Alien
attitude.
Queen is.
Yeah, that's true. Sorry, go
Yeah.
ahead, John.
No, I mean, again, this is just further evidence, if it happens, of the destruction of any decent franchise that is out there whatsoever. Just they will not leave anything alone right now. I think they're deliberately going into my past at this point to try and destroy
Well,
what I
they're
grew up. The
creatively
black hole
bankrupt.
will be next.
They're creatively bankrupt. They don't know how to make anything new anymore without
Well, I
it
mean-
being woke and crappy. So they have to keep going back to the bucket. But
Yeah.
We already have this movie. It was called Alien Resurrection.
uh-huh.
Right? What are you going to do? Unless it is Neil Blomkamp undoing Alien 3,
Yeah.
I'm not fucking interested. Like, I could care less. Like, I have a secret love for Alien 3. Don't get me wrong,
So
but
do
it
I.
works as a standalone movie. It is a horrible fucking sequel to Aliens.
This is
Yeah,
brand
yeah,
new.
it's a
This
very
stuff, this
bad
stuff
sequel
just started
to
coming
Aliens,
out yesterday. Says I'm looking at the People article right now. Sigourney Weaver told a New York Comic Con panel that she has had a meeting with Disney regarding potentially reprising her iconic role as Ripley in the Alien franchise. Weaver revealed that Alien franchise producer Walter Hill wrote 50 pages of where Ripley would be now, and they are quite extraordinary.
Walter Hill.
She last played Ripley in 1997's Alien Resurrection. Then there's a
That's
bunch of
interesting,
others,
the
so-
twist, though. Walter Hill, because didn't he write? Wasn't he one of the writers on the original
know.
Alien? And
That's your department, Tom. I have no idea. So
I
I
remember.
can,
think he
can see
was.
it happening. I can see it happening. Maybe she'll sing and talk to the alien symbiote. You know, that'll
So,
be the
Are they gonna
a musical.
Are they gonna start off on Earth? Isn't that where Resurrection ended with her and Winona Ryder on Earth?
I don't. Is it going to be a sequel to Resurrection, or is he
I have
just
no
going to
idea.
do like a Blomkamp deal? That's what I'm wondering. Because, okay, so he did write Alien 3 and Resurrection, or at least he got credit for characters. That's what it is, I bet. Because yeah, he did work. Because here's the thing: he was supposed to direct Alien, he couldn't because he took another movie. That's why he's listed as a producer, and that's why the movie was pretty much pre-set up for Ridley. And that's where a lot of people give Ridley credit for Alien. And I say, no, Ridley doesn't deserve that much credit for Alien. All he did was pick up the camera and say action. That movie was pretty much pre-set up for him. So that is an interesting twist. It makes me wonder if they're going to do like a Blomkamp thing where they're going to undo 3 and 4.
I don't know. Let me see. There's more here. She says, Walter Hill is a very good friend of mine, and he wrote 50 pages of where Ripley would be now, and they are quite extraordinary. Weaver said during a panel on the Alien franchise, when asked by moderator Josh Horowitz whether she's had any conversations. So I don't know if it's going to happen, but I have had a meeting with Fox, Disney, or whoever it is now. We were added to Laughter. I have never felt the need to reprise the role. I always let her rest, let her recover. But what Walter has written is, first of all, seems so true to me as very much about the society that would incarcerate someone who has tried to help mankind, but she's a problem to them, so she's sort of tucked away. So
the trouble you've got is, like you were saying about Alien 3, Tom. It's not a great movie, but if they try and effectively do a retcon, you're hoping that Disney actually do something that's better than what was before, and the evidence suggests they're just not capable of doing it, so you'll end up getting something worse that replaces it. That's the trouble we're going to have, and I can see that happening.
Well, that's the problem. Like I think Walter Hill's not a bad choice, but it's like, what are you going to do other than what Blomkamp was going to do? Because I'm looking here, he did write on Alien 3. And I don't know, let me check Resurrection here. I think it's just characters on that one, but I could be wrong. But I mean, he is somebody who's been attached to the franchise since the very beginning. So that gives me kind of like, okay, I'm interested now, because it's not Ridley Scott.
Right.
For those who don't know, I have a hard on against Ridley Scott. I'm just not a big fan.
So at what point do we reboot this franchise if they want to keep it going?
Well, I think they're trying. That's what this new series was about, right?
Like legitimately just
that nobody watched.
Well, I actually talked to somebody, and no, he's not listed at all as one of the writers on the last one. So if he does it, it's either going to be a direct sequel to Alien 3 or he's going to undo Alien 3 is my guess. And see, I heard from an inside track that they're really trying hard to make Predator and Alien do this, right? So they got the Predator guys over here working on Predator stuff. You got the Alien guys over here working on Alien stuff, and they're really working towards getting them back together in a franchise. So I don't know what this is. If this is some also ran thing they're working on, because Ridley was really heavy duty into this shit, and now I think Ridley's on the verge of retiring. So I don't know if he's been backing off or what's going on. This is an interesting twist. That's
I think,
all I know.
Tom, what you're saying there about them trying to sort of come together, I'm still sticking to my belief that Badlands, when it comes out, you're going to have a xenomorph turn up in that. I can see them doing that all day long.
Good.
That it just pops up out of somewhere. It's the most dangerous planet ever, where there's predators everywhere. I can see it. So I think that's going to happen. And you're right. And then you'll get the proper link up, and we're going to do an Alien versus Predator movie, but this time we're going to do it right.
Yeah,
of course
I have very little faith in Disney at this point. So
yeah. I gotta be honest with you. I liked the first. I sort of liked the first AVP. I thought it was fun.
Well, that's that one's okay, but it works as an Elseworld.
Oh, that's the pyramid under the Arctic.
Yeah,
it's more of a Predator movie than an Alien.
It's more of a Predator movie. Yeah,
I actually have a lot of fun with that movie. So
yeah, it's a fun movie, and I like Bishop as Wayland. Was it Bishop or whatever?
Yeah, it was a nice wink.
Yeah, it's a good wink. Yeah. I mean, I think that, look, this franchise is promised. This is my problem with Alien. It's too scattered, and the longer we go, the more scattered it gets.
Yeah.
So Alien and Aliens, proper movie and sequel. After that, it goes off the fucking rails, dude.
Yeah,
I agree with you. There's really only 2.3 good Alien films. Now, the problem they have here, Brian, is they boxed themselves in by making Alien Earth and Romulus both prequels for no good fucking reason. None whatsoever. Right. Alien Earth especially should not be a prequel. I
don't know.
If they would have just made it a sequel to everything and made it take place 200 years or 100 years after everything before, I don't think anybody would have gave a shit.
Right.
Because then at that point, you're free to do whatever the you want. It's like, forget everything else.
It's the prequel problem, dude. We either do prequels because we're too afraid of doing an actual sequel. We're too afraid of ruining someone's expectations of a sequel. So we cowardly go backwards in time. And I'll say it right now. Ridley Scott, he has cowardly gone backwards. He didn't want to go forward because there was too much work. It's too much work. It's too hard. There's too many stakes. Let's go backwards. And he's not the only one. Every one of these creatives, they keep going backwards in time, or they go so far into the future where it doesn't matter. No one's making sequels because they're afraid of the backlash if it's poor.
Well, Ridley's problem is this. He didn't really, like I said before, he didn't really have much to do with Alien creatively, right? He just showed up as a director for hire, more or less. But what happened was in the process, he got all the praise for Alien. He got all the acknowledgement. Then Aliens came out. And James Cameron did Aliens. And that set the template going forward for what Aliens should be. Not only that, it came up with the whole life cycle of the xenomorph, the queen alien, all the business there. And it basically did what? It turned the alien into a biological weapon, basically.
Right.
Now, Ridley didn't like that. Ridley likes this existential fucking sci-fi bullshit.
Yeah.
And he wanted to get into the robots. So, like, if you watch all his shit, it's either about the aliens or the robots. The aliens not being the alien, but being those fucking blue people. Right. And it's all about
the synth and then the
synths and shit. And he makes, and the moment he turned it about those blue people trying to send the aliens to Earth in the first place, I'm like, you fucked this whole thing up. You fucked this whole thing. Why do they care about Earth? They wouldn't.
Right.
They wouldn't.
The whole point of the original Alien, when you see that jockey sitting there with his chest burst open, is, in my interpretation, this was a biological weapon that they made that got away from them. It is an allegory for biological or nuclear weapons, basically, is what it is.
And you know what? That's so easy to understand. It's not a hard concept. You can build so much off that. We don't need to like somehow glorify Earth. And the crazy part is Earth is one of trillions and trillions of planets. All of a sudden, the progenitors, or whatever they're called, they just care.
Why would they care?
I hate what they did in Prometheus. I liked Covenant slightly more, but because it was built on that rotten core, I didn't like it. Nothing. The only movie
it was better than it was an
liked,
accident that we stumbled upon him, right? Like that was it.
Yes.
The moment
the accident made sense.
The moment, and this is what happened after Aliens, right? The moment they kept trying to make it this thing that the corporation set up, and they knew more than they really knew, because that goes against everything Burke does. That's what I hate about everything that they added to this thing. Especially now with the alien Romulus and Earth. It's like, if the corporation really knew more than they did, then why is Burke acting the way he did? Why would they even let Burke build that facility there? Right? Because that's where he's panicking in that movie. He's like, I went and built this facility there, this multi-billion-dollar facility, and all the fucking people disappeared. Yeah. We have an idea of what might happen because you said this thing about these aliens, and we want to have you, Ripley, come along and verify that this is what happened. Right? And he's just panicking, and he just sees the alien as an opportunity to save his ass. I lost these fucking things, this facility and these people, but I can bring this thing home, and this might be worth something. That's the way I always saw Aliens. I never saw it as this major like setup, as this thing that the corporation knew more than they really did. Right? Like, to me, that always never made sense as to why they would keep doing that. Otherwise, why the fuck would you keep sending people? You send a bunch of robots at that point. And you go get the goddamn thing.
Yeah,
how stupid is
that? Send a bunch of super strong, almost immortal synths. Why are you sending people? Yeah, no, and that's the problem with this franchise. I believe that it had great bones. It started off with a great franchise, with a great foundation, and then it went off the rail with every creative that wanted to add their take that didn't work. And then, the great and powerful Ridley Scott trying to bring it back with a bunch of prequels that didn't work. I think that if you really want to make this franchise correct, let's retcon 3, 4, 5, 6, and all the prequels. Go to Romulus, which is pretty much a sequel to Aliens, if I'm not incorrect. I think I'm right. And you know what? Just start from there. You got Romulus, which is a pretty good movie. You got Alien, Aliens, Alien Romulus. Let's just move from there. And let's just forget all the side.
In between, but whatever.
I don't know, but let's forget about all the ancillary stuff, or just reboot the thing. It's a cool idea. It's a cool franchise, but it's been so mismanaged by so many creatives for so long. It's crazy.
Well, and you could say that about any franchise, couldn't you really, guys? I mean, that's the trouble now.
The best thing,
Fast and Furious has not been mismanaged.
The best thing about this conversation is that we're not talking about Superman. And
I'm just telling you, like, look, you might not appreciate Fast and Furious art, but you know what? At least it has a cohesive fucking storyline.
Croc likes it.
I'll be the standout here and say, you know what? Hearing Walter Hill and Sigourney Weaver might be involved in something alien kind of gives me a little bit of hope that we're moving away.
I'm really happy to hear
Prometheus stuff.
I'm happy to hear happy about something, Tom.
I hope so.
Really good.
No Prometheus, no Covenant. Let's just move away from all that bullshit.
I hope so. I hope they're just going back to the standard, typical. I don't give a shit if they give us like a Halloween H2O situation with Ripley. Like I said, it's 30 years since Aliens. She's home. Newt's grown up and has her own kid now. What the fuck ever? Who cares? A bunch of aliens show up at Earth. Oh shit. I'll watch that.
Proper alien Earth. I'll take that. Here's what's crazy. You have Alien and Predator, like two of the most iconic science fiction franchises of all time. You somehow build them into their a shared universe, and then you drop the ball movie after movie after movie. You have two of the most iconic sci-fi franchises of all time that you accidentally built into the same franchise, and you couldn't bring it home. Someone needs the Kevin Feige, James Gunn, whatever. Someone needs to take over, Favreau, take over this franchise as one existing person that can make decisions.
There is a team, or at least this is what I was saying, Brian, because my understanding is I do know somebody who knows somebody whose actual family member works on these. And they flat out said that both teams, Alien and the Predator team, are working close together to try and make these cool and make them for the fans and make them. And maybe that's what supports this whole Sigourney Weaver situation. Maybe they are listening that people are tired of this Prometheus Ridley Scott bullshit. And they're like, well, fuck it. We need to take this back to basic. We need to go back to formula, to quote, Spider-Man. So,
but I mean, Tom and guys, I was going to say about Predator as well with this. I love the original movie. The original movie isn't about hearing them talk or, feeling their emotions. It's a badass predator that is literally killing off an elite special forces team that Arnie struggles to
Predator's
defeat.
less broke too, but go on. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah. Predator is much less broke. Yeah.
Yeah. But now it's like Badlands is coming up, and I'll check it out. But again, straight away, I'm like, I just don't know if I'm interested in watching Kid Predator earn his stripes. I want to see a fully fledged badass predator. Hunting people down.
If we're starting there, but John, what if we're starting there and like they want to actually build out like Tom said, Predator is a lot less broke than Aliens. What if you're starting with this character and you want to build out a whole Predator series where the main characters are a Predator and a synth? I mean, this wouldn't be a bad start if the story's good and the characters are likable in some way, or we root for them. Then this could be the start of a new golden age or a new, well-received franchise for Predator, for sure. I think the biggest problem with Predator is every Predator movie has to be about different people because the Predator can't be the star. The humans have to be the star. And now that it's 2025 and we have the capabilities we have, hey, guess what? The Predator can be the star.
We want a show where the Predator, the main bad guy, is the main character.
Well, but the problem with movies where the Predator's attacking bad guy, protagonist, is that every movie has to be different protagonist. Like it makes it hard to build like a running story arc when every movie has different characters.
Predator, right? Is the Predator can work both ways.
Sure,
especially when you're teaming it up against Alien. It does make the Predator more of the protagonist in the situation. And the Predator is different than the Alien because it actually has rhyme and reason to it, right? Like the Alien, that's what I was saying earlier about trying to make the Alien more than it is so stupid. Because just making it a simple killing machine is what's the beauty of it, right?
Right.
It has no rhyme. It has no reason. You can't.
It's the perfect killing machine. Yeah.
Exactly.
Alien is the Jason Voorhees of the sci-fi horror universe.
Exactly. It doesn't matter. You can't sit there and go, look, I have a family, and Alien's not going to give a fuck. Right. Alien's not going to care. In fact,
my tail
too. Yeah. Now, Predator, on the other hand, if you could actually get a communication going, if you show the Predator like I'm a father to these children, and I have a wife, and I'm protecting them. Will you leave us alone? Chances are a Predator would understand that and probably back the fuck off.
Yeah, the Predator can make decisions logically.
In that position,
when the Predators lose, they gain a little respect for their foe, and they go, "Here, have this trophy, and now get the fuck out of the tunnel because my plane's taken off."
No, that's what I loved about the Predator movies, and AVP was great because like he realizes that he needs this human's help, right, at some point, or he can use it, and by the end, she impresses him. Same with the Predator 2 and Predator 1. I think it was super badass. I love the Predator movies, and I'm bummed that we've gotten so many Alien movies and so little Predator movies.
Well, Predator versus Alien 2 was a fucking disaster.
That was a disaster with the Super Predator. Oh my God. What was that?
Guys, in Predator 2, like the chat says, he doesn't shoot the female cop because she's pregnant. There's some empathy.
yeah.
They
There
have
is.
empathy.
They've
Well, they
got
have like a
code,
moral, or not the morals, but they have like a
code of
not
honor
even
sort of thing.
code of
Yeah, they have an
honor. Thank
honor
you,
system,
thank you.
right?
Yeah.
Dude, AVP 2 was because of how surprisingly successful AVP 1 was. And they're like, we need to get an AVP 2 out ASAP. But then they gave it to like two of the most untested people on the planet who didn't know how to use a camera, didn't understand lighting, barely understood story, and they thought to themselves, well, cool predators and hot chicks, that's what people want to see.
I really hope Gorney does this, because I think this gives us something new to talk about. I'm enjoying this conversation, but I think we got to get things.
Yeah, we do have to wrap it up here. I don't know if we have any new super chats. I think we have one, perhaps, from Penny. It says Ripley, grandma in space. Exactly.
There you go.
Why not?
What else we gonna get?
Ass.
They're gonna de-age her like 30 years, so they could, I guess.
They could, but at this point, that's where I would just assume they just.
Why don't you just fast forward the timeline so that her age makes sense?
At this point, if they de-aged her, though, she's gonna be like old Harrison Ford in that new movie.
Well, like I said, you just
still moves old.
You just ignore Alien 3. You set it up. It's been like 50 years or 20 years or whatever, 40 years or whatever since Aliens, which it technically has or whatever. Then you just say, Newt's grown up, had a kid. She and what's his face got married. I just forgot his name.
Right.
But anyway, you just do all that kind of business, and then all of a sudden they need Ripley for something. Like I said, if that disregards all the other crap they did, good. I could care less. And they can do it, and they don't have anybody stopping them, as far as I know, because there is no real arbiter of the Alien franchise, as far as I know. Like, the only person that I know has any real major holdover right now was Ridley, and otherwise, I think Dan O'Bannon and Walter Hill and those guys actually own the franchise as far as any kind of like ownership, but they don't own it. Obviously, Fox Disney owns it, but I mean, they have like any creative ownership over it. I should say. So yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you guys an unpopular opinion, which I'm pretty good at. So, when I did the documentaries for Alien 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever, 9, 10, 15, whatever, when I did the Alien franchise 4-hour documentary series, I learned something while I was doing that series. I learned that I don't think I like Ridley Scott very much as a director or a creative.
Me either.
I know that's like blasphemy or whatever, but like I just don't. And
he is so far up his ass, Brian. That's the
so far up his ass. And I'm watching the interviews with him. He was doing an interview with James Cameron, and I was watching it so I can add it to the doc. And bro, James Cameron is like somehow, and he is worthy of this praise. He is humble, he's personable, he's charming, and the entire time Ridley Scott is just talking about how better his movies are, and he's so arrogant. It's hard to watch. But someone who is humble, who is deserving of this praise, and someone who barely produces things I can tangentially like, who is arrogant as hell. It's crazy.
Well, James Cameron isn't as humble as he used to be, that's for sure. But yeah.
Well, in that interview from years ago, he was, yeah.
But wasn't it a couple of weeks ago that Ridley Scott came out and was saying that he's looking at movies in the past now because we've gone through a period of average movies? And I was thinking, man, I watched Gladiator 2. Did you not watch that yourself, mate?
No, he didn't.
Come on.
He didn't watch that movie.
Gladiator 2 was dog time. I don't know if you heard about that. Like, yeah, there was some like DP on the set or assistant director who's like, yeah, really didn't even show up. He was not even there most of the days to say action cut.
Of course not.
I don't even know if you ever saw it.
Brian, you got a show to do after this, right?
Yeah. So we got a show. Me and John are going into the Brain Show after this. Also, can I quickly promote my book? Is that cool, you guys?
You got 30 seconds.
My book.
All right. So I got a book I wrote. I'll show you guys real quick. There you go. I got a book I wrote, and hey, if you have Kindle or Amazon Prime, you can get it for free. Go look it up. It's called The First Spark, Creation Collapse, and What Comes After. And go check it out, man.
Brian, you know I don't read, dude.
I know. It's a lot of you guys aren't readers.
Your colon?
It's not a very long book. It's like 100 pages, but I just want people to read it. So I don't even ask you to buy it. If you have Kindle or Amazon Prime, you can rent it for free. Just go
Look at that. John
read it.
has it right there.
Go, yeah, he's got it. Go read it. If you're
Even sign
interested.
it.
It's science fiction. It takes place over billions of years, and it's sort of like a sequel of sorts to The Last Question. I really like the book.
Post the link in the chat, Brian.
I'm confused. I thought it was about your colon.
Well, yeah, that's another book, but that's
Well,
for my
the
own
creation, the collapse, and then what came after. So.
right. Yeah, so go check it out, guys. I want people to actually read this book and tell me what they think.
Well, hopefully it does well for you, Brian. That's awesome. And John, it was nice. I think this is the first time we've ever been on a stream together. It was nice meeting you.
Yeah, good meeting you, mate. And always fun hanging out with Brian and obviously Dutch as well. So thanks for having me on, guys. It's been a blast. And, blimey, we're on to another one. So what's that? 6 hours of podcasting.
Yeah,
today.
let's go.
Going to be like Nick Cage in The Rock, just injecting stuff into my heart at some point.
If I didn't have to go to work right after this, I'd come join you guys over on
Crank High Voltage.
Yeah.
You have to keep having sex or your heart's going to stop.
Brian, let me get us out of here. Tom,
Patty.
I want to thank you really quick, Tom, for stepping into the host chair, being Kadish today. It was a good time. Had a lot of fun. Went way better than I thought it was going to go, guys. And
I was Matthew Kadish, talking like this.
Yeah. And the chat was getting a little uppity earlier, but that's what chat does. That's fine.
You know what the chat likes, guys?
Yeah.
When we talk about Superman.
Talking about Superman. But let's get out of here.
Yeah, you can check me out, of course, on Midnight's Edge After Dark. Dutch has Dutch Butters Gaming, and of course, Salty Nerd Podcast, and anywhere else he's hanging out. We want to thank all of you guys out there, the mods, all you folks who super chatted on both the Salty Nerd side and our side over on Midnight's Edge. And of course, take care of yourself and each other. And go ahead and take us out, Brian.
All right, I'm taking us out. I'm just going to
have a nice
yank it out.
Oh, there it is.
Yank
Found
it
it.
out.
Here we go.
In stream, Brian. Just the
In stream.
In stream.